Do you think it's good for NFL players to be flexing their power here and starting to use their leverage to determine their future and their career path?
I do. I think it makes the league more interesting. I mean, think about what we're talking about right now. It gives us things to talk about. It gives fans things to speculate about and to have fun with. And I think changes of scenery are good and exciting for sports. More than that, though, I think this was the inevitable byproduct of the fact that people love offense. You know, why do I say that? Because for years, this is not how it was in the NFL. But because the fans want offense, ratings go up with offense, the rules changes consistently have been not only to protect the quarterback, but to make his job easier, to make it harder to cover the wideouts. Innovation on the offensive side, they realize the return on investment when you hand it to a running back is more or less always the same. But when in the passing game, it can increase. Michael Lewis, right, with the blind side points this out. And so through the years, increasingly, the importance of the quarterback has increased to the point where if you're great, not if you're just anybody, but if you're great, for the first time in, I think, history, those players, by definition only, I don't know, what is it, Stephen, A, 5 or 6, it changes year to year, 4, 7, whatever it is, have now, it seems to me, the power of NBA superstars. Because those players can affect the fortunes of your team the way NBA stars can. And those players are looking at the NBA and thinking, yeah, that would be nice.
So you're saying it's good? Player empowerment
I'm saying
is good for the NFL?
I'm saying it's inevitable and good.
I don't think it's inevitable. I like it. I'm not averse to it. I would tell you that the more power players gain, the better. But I would tell you it's going to be few and far between. It's not the NBA, and it never will be, and everybody needs to get over that. The NBA, you've got 450-plus players. The National Football League, you got in excess of 1,696 players. When you take into account a 53-man roster, and when you consider that along with a hard salary cap and how that governs the league, there's a limited amount of power that any player is going to get. And more importantly than that, I think that what you have to pay attention to is the reality that the actions of a few can ultimately affect the many. You know, one of the things that I brought up on many, many occasions, Max, just so you know, years ago when LeBron James decided to take his talents to South Beach, what flew under the radar for years is what kind of problem it caused with the NBA owners and the players, because the kind of rules that they wanted to implement, reducing, the amount of basketball-related income. You know all about that. You know, once upon a time, it was 57% that the players had. It's down to 50%. You know, some owners wanted it as low as 47%. This is why they were locking out the players and what have you. A lot of it had to do with LeBron James and how he elected to handle his exit from Cleveland to South Beach. The Dan Gilberts of the world and others were behind the scenes raising holy hell about player movement and things of that nature. So some of these rules that you've seen injected into the equation was a byproduct of them being so turned off by the manner in which he elected to handle it, which I think is the lone blemish on his illustrious career. We transition to the National Football League, and what we find is a situation where you got a hard salary cap, you've got players that don't earn as much money as NBA players. You've got the very few that are marketable stars in the National Football League because you're wearing shoulder pads, helmets, your identity is disguised to some degree. And for the most part, the NFL is the one who chooses who should be marketed and who shouldn't in most situations. And so when you're playing in a league like that, and the only guaranteed dollars you have is basically with your signing bonus and what have you, there's a limited amount of power that you have. And the few that exercise it, Max, even though they could get away with it, you're just fomenting new ideas for the owners to come up to curtail you from gaining even more power, and that becomes more of a priority during negotiations. And even though those few individual players can get away with it, the collective whole could end up suffering because of it. And I just think that it's something that we need to monitor moving forward. We love the players getting more power, but don't think for 1 second it won't come without a stiff price.
Real quick, same thing in the NBA. Yep, only a handful of players like our James Harden who can get exactly what they want, go where they want, also get their guaranteed dollars, all that. Same thing in the NFL. If Deion Sanders was in his prime in the NFL right now, he could do it a shutdown corner Aaron Donald, someone like that, and maybe 5 or 6 quarterbacks. Everyone else, you're right. There are different tiers of players and different influence. But the NFL is in a new day. That's what it looks like to me.
Let's see. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.